And it came to pass in Icon that they entered together into the synagogue of the Jews. And so spake the great multitudes, both Jews of Greeks believed. But the Jews that were disobedient stirred up the souls of the Gentiles, and made them evil affected against the brethren. Long time therefore they tarried there, speaking boldly in the Lord, who bear witness unto the world of his grace, granting signs and wonders to be done by their hands. But the multitude of the city was divided, and part held with the Jews and with part of the apostles. And then there was made an onset both the Gentiles and of the Jews with their rulers to treat them shamefully and to stone them. They become aware of it and fled unto the cities of Lycaonia and Lystra and Derbe and the region round about. And there they preached the gospel. And at Lystra there sat a certain man impotent in his feet, a crippled from his mother's womb, who never had walked. The same heard Paul speaking, whose fastened his eyes upon him. And seeing he had faith to be made whole, said with a loud voice, Stand upright on thy feet. And he leaped up and walked. And when the multitude saw that Paul had done, they lifted up their voice, saying in speech of Lycaonia, The gods are come down to us in the likeness of a man. And they called Barnabas Jupiter, and Paul Mercy, because he was the chief speaker, and the priest of Jupiter, whose temple was before the city, brought oxen and garland unto the gates, and would have done sacrifices with the multitudes. But when the apostles Barnabas and Paul heard of it, they rent their garments, and sprang forth among the multitudes, crying out, and saying, Sirs, why do you do these things? We also, men of like possession with you, and bring you good tidings, that you should turn from these vain things unto a living God, who made the heavens and earth and the seas, and all that's in them is, who is in generations gone by suffered all nations to walk in their own ways, and yet left no himself without witness, in that he did good and gave you from heaven rain fruitful seasons, filling your hearts with food and gladness. And with these sayings scarce restrained them the multitudes from doing sacrifices unto them. But there came Jews thither from Antioch and Icon, and having persuaded the multitudes that they stoned Paul and dragged him out of the city, supposing he was dead. But as the disciples stood around about him, he rose up and entered into the city on the morrow, and he went forth with Barnabas to Derbe. And when they had preached the gospel to the city, they had made many disciples. They returned to Lystra and to Iconium and to Antioch, confirming the souls of the disciples, exhorting them to continue in the faith, and that through many tribulations we must enter into the kingdom of God. And when they had appointed from the elders in every church, they had prayed with fasting that commanded them to the Lord, on whom they had believed. And they passed through Pisidia and came to Pamphylia. And when they had spoken the word in Perga, they went down to Atur, and thence sailed to Antioch, from whence they had been committed to the grace of God for the works which they had fulfilled. And when they were come and had gathered the church together, they rehearsed all things that God had done with them, and that he opened the door of faith unto the Gentiles. And they tarried no little time with the disciples. This was the book of Acts, chapter 14.